Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Looking good, you know what I'm saying? Y'all enjoying summer? Y'all ready for school? I'm just playing. I got bad jokes. All right. So I just came up here to give a brief introduction to our guest speaker tonight. Most of you know her. She goes by the name of Veronica, Voltron. You know, no, she don't go by Voltron. I made that one up. So Veronica was asked to speak and bring the word to you in like 2 weeks. But that got pushed up today, like 3 o'clock to today. So talk about being ready to give a word at any given time. That's what she's doing. So I'd like you guys to give a big warm applause, a warm welcome. Give her your attention, because she wasn't prepared to do this today, but she's doing it today anyway. And I think she's awesome. And you know, she's my daughter. But you know, even besides that, she's still awesome. So give a warm welcome to Veronica Clay.
Y'all to be that loud during worship. Ooh, you're already starting. We're already starting. All right, so as I said, my name is Veronica. Just to give you a little info, I am an adult leader here, and I am a tribes leader on Sundays. 6th grade tribe is the best. The 7th and 8th grade girls know it because they were in my tribe when they were in 6th grade, so, you know. But tonight we're going to be talking about David. Now, how many of you have heard of David? Right. Now, we normally hear about like David and Goliath or David and Bathsheba, you know. We hear about these really popular stories, but we're going to talk about a story that maybe is a little less popular. So we're going to jump right into the word, but before we do, I'm going to pray real fast. So if you'll bow your heads and close your eyes. Dear Jesus, thank you for letting us be here and giving us the opportunity to worship you freely in your presence in this building, God, without being afraid of the law or afraid of the government. Thank you for giving us a chance just to be with you and with others, God. And I pray that you will anoint me and give me the words to speak, and may I speak only what you would have me speak and nothing more and nothing less. And I pray that you will be with the students, open their hearts to what you have to give them, help them to receive it and fill them up, and help us to have an amazing night for the rest of the night. In your mighty name we pray, amen.
Amen. How you doing?
Alrighty, so we're going to start off in 2 Samuel chapter 6. So open your Bibles if you have them, or your phones. Now, if you're texting, the Lord knows. He knows, okay? So don't play with me. Don't play with the Lord. You ain't even playing with me, you're playing with the Lord. So that's between you and God. So, we're jumping in. We're going to start in verse 12. Basically, I'm going to give you a little background real fast. For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of a nerd, so bear with me. But in the Old Testament, we have Moses, right? Yeah, we know who Moses is, part the Red Sea, lead the Israelites, yes. So, essentially, God had to make the Ark of the Covenant, which was a place where God's Spirit was. This was the only place on earth where God's Spirit was until Christ died and the veil was torn. And that was thousands of years later. So in the beginning of the Israelites forming as a nation, there was the Ark of the Covenant. This was an important box that was kept in the tabernacle. People could not walk into this room or they would die because God's presence was too powerful. Only one man could. And in fact, I learned that they actually tied a rope around his leg when he walked in, because if he wasn't the real God, or if he wasn't the real priest or the person who was supposed to be in there, he would die. So they would just pull him out because they didn't want to go in there and drag his body out because they would die too. That's crazy, right? So little information, little interesting. Check your history. But, so it's Ark of the Covenant, right? And it had been taken from the nation. This is the presence of God being taken from the nation and taken captivity. And it was off in another country, but they had brought it back and they brought it to one of the Israelites' houses, right? So they brought it to the Israelites' house. Now, King David was told, the Lord has blessed the household of Obed-Edom and everything he has because of the Ark of God. So David went to bring up the Ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David. David had a city named after himself. Like, can I get one of those? The city of Veronica? You know, no. Okay, so he had his own city, you know, it's Jerusalem. And the Ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with rejoicing. So basically, this Ark had been in this guy's house. Let's say it's chilling in my house. Blessed. I mean, not like hashtag blessed. I mean, like, if I was growing plants, all of them were bountiful. There were plants everywhere. If I had servants who were sick, they were no longer sick. If I had any issues, they were solved because they were blessed. And so David realized this, and he was like, yo, I want that in my house. I don't want that. I want it back, because initially it was in Jerusalem, but it had been taken away. He said, I want that. And the thing we can notice from this that is crucial is that where God's presence is, that's how we'll be blessed. It's crucial that we understand that if we want to be blessed, we have to be in God's presence. God's presence brings blessings. Now, a lot of us will say, yes, I want God's blessings. Yes, I want them, But then we only enjoy God's presence at church, maybe, if we're paying attention and if we're listening. And that's it. How are we really to have a blessed life? We're really only going to have a blessed Wednesday night, maybe a blessed Sunday morning, maybe a blessed Tuesday night, and that's it. God's presence should not be confined to the church. When Christ died, his spirit tore the veil that was in the tabernacle so that his spirit could cover the whole earth so that we could have it. What's the point of God doing that if we don't take his presence with us? I mean, it's made available to us, but we don't access it except for at church. What's the point? That's the same thing as having a tabernacle. So if you want to truly have God's blessing overflowing in your life, are you in his presence? All you have to do is say, God, I want to be in your presence. It's attuning your spirit to his voice, because he's here, but are you paying attention? It's just like having a friend, but if you pay no attention to them, well, it's not going to be much of a friendship. It's going to be kind of awkward. Don't do that. So, with God, make sure you're spending time with him. Whether it's reading the Bible, praying, listening to worship music, get attuned to his presence. There are so many ways to do it, but if you want to be blessed, that's the way. Now, we'll keep reading, and we're going to go to verse 13. When those who were carrying the ark of the Lord had taken 6 steps, he sacrificed the bull and a fattened calf. So they did sacrifices to praise God. He was so excited after 6 steps. Mind you, they had a long way to go, but he was pumped. Wearing a linen ephod, David was dancing before the Lord with all his might, while he and all Israel were bringing up the ark of the Lord with shouts and the sound of trumpets. As the ark of the Lord was entering the city of David, Michal, who was his wife, David's wife, daughter of Saul, watched from a window. And when she saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, she despised him in her heart. So we'll stop there for a minute. How many of y'all, if you can keep the verse on the screen, we're gonna analyze a little bit. As an English major, we really focus on critical analysis, so buckle up. We're gonna do some little examinations here. So, wearing a linen ephod, how many of you know what an ephod is? I had to Google it, so I mean, if you know it, you're smart. I only knew a little bit of it, but I had to check. So an ephod is a priestly garment. It basically looks like a bejeweled apron. That's the best way I can sum it up. So it's going to tie around your neck, it's going to tie around your waist. And God gave them to the priests. This is what they were supposed to wear, the Levites. David was also wearing one, though. And so when y'all hear David was dancing naked, it's a lie. It's because of what we're going to hear about later. So in ephod, he wasn't just wearing an apron. And I'll give this example. If I say, hey, that guy over there in the vest, we're not going to naturally assume that he's only wearing a vest, right? Hopefully not. When we say the guy in the vest, it means he's wearing other clothes and the vest. That's the special garment. That's the girl in the red shoes. It's the one thing we notice so that we can be, oh, okay, I know what they're wearing. It's the same thing. So he's wearing an ephod, but every time people wore ephods, they had clothes under them. So David wasn't naked, he was just stripped down to less kingly attire. But we'll get to that later. So he's wearing this priestly robe, looks like an apron. And David was dancing before the Lord with all his might. Now, for those of you who don't know me, which is actually a lot of you tonight, I don't dance. Now, some of you be like, yes, you do, Veronica. I dance under 2 occasions. One, if the song is really good, in which case the only thing you will see from me, yeah, that's probably, for those of you who know me, you know. I do this a lot, right? The other time I dance a little more wild, is if there's food. And for those of you who know, you know, like when I go downstairs and mom's like making breakfast, I don't even like mornings, but if mom's making breakfast, shoot, we got some food, yes! Like I start dancing, right? But it's still maintained for the most part. Okay, so David, a grown man, a king of the richest nation in all the world, was dancing before the Lord with all his might. All his might. I don't even know what that looks like. Like I've seen people dance, and I've seen y'all dance, but I've never seen y'all dance with all your might, like with everything in you. Like you could die after that dance because you done gave it all. So I don't even know what that looks like, but this dude was just going all out. And while he and all of Israel were bringing up the ark of the Lord with shouts and the sound of trumpets, so they're partying essentially. As the ark of the Lord was entering the city of David, Michal, his wife, daughter of Saul, watched from a window. And when she saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, bruh, when we dance, I don't see y'all leaping. I mean, I really don't see you leaping. This dude was leaping. Like, I don't even know, like in my mind, it kind of looks like a ballerina, like jumping, but I don't know if that's right. But he's dancing with all his might and leaping. I don't know where he's going, but he's doing it. So he's giving everything in him, and she despised him in her heart. That's a hater. We're gonna leave that there. I got a whole nother message for her in a little bit, but she's a hater. So we'll go on to the next verses. When David returned home to bless his household, we skipped down a little bit, by the way. Michal, daughter of Saul, came out to meet him and said, "How the king of Israel has distinguished himself today, going around half naked." I'll explain that too. Going around half naked in full view of the slave girls of his servants, as any vulgar fellow would. David said to Michal, one of the best clapbacks, we never honor it. Okay, ready? David said to Michal, "It was before the Lord who chose me rather than your father or anyone from his house when he appointed me ruler over the Lord's people, Israel." Can we just say, ooh? Ooh. See, for those of you who know your history, Saul was the king of Israel, but he got booted because he gave sacrifices to God when he was specifically told not to. Because God prefers obedience rather than sacrificing rams, right? So, this is a ooh moment. That was her daddy. He said, "God chose me, not your daddy." Okay? So, shh. He said this to his wife. I don't know. I couldn't say that to my spouse, I don't think, but I'm not married. Maybe I could. So, I guess, Mom, could you say that? Could you say that to someone depending on the time? You know, it depends. All right. So, he said, "I will celebrate before the Lord. I will become even more undignified than this, and I will be humiliated in my own eyes. But by these slave girls you spoke of, I will be held in honor." Okay, so I haven't given you any points in a minute. I was trying to organize my message in a way that would have points scattered, but this is too much to unpack, so I had to read all of it at once. So, first off, the whole David was naked thing. Obviously he wasn't, he had his clothes on. Now, if you see what Michal said, she said, "How the king of Israel has distinguished himself today, going around half naked." She's basically like, "Bruh, what are you doing? Why are you dressed like that? You look like trash." That's what she's saying. Now, he wasn't half naked as in like exposed. Now, remember when we translate, everything doesn't translate perfectly to English. But what it's saying is, why are you not dressed the way a king should be? You are supposed to be wearing an outer robe. You are supposed to be wearing a crown. You are supposed to be wearing jewels. It should be obvious to every person in here that you are the king of the richest nation on earth. Why are you dressed like a common person? David did this because he was genius, right? So, David did the one thing that a lot of us usually aren't too comfortable doing. He humbled himself. He said, "I'm in the presence of God, and suddenly my position doesn't mean jack because I have a limited lifespan, and this God is eternal. I have a little bit of an army, and he has the army of heavens. I mean nothing. So I might as well take off this crown, take off this robe. This means nothing. I'm in the presence of God, and I'm going to give him honor because my status is nothing compared to the status of God. So I'm going to humble myself that I might honor God." So here's the thing. A lot of us, humility is a rough topic. Can I say that? So, you know, innately, we're humans. We want to be popular. We want to be powerful, prestigious. You know, we want to be on point, looking great, best J's, hair super on point, edges. They better be there. You know, get your life together. That's the rule, right? We want to have position. But David did the exact opposite, and he humbled himself. And so if you're really going to be walking out the Christian walk, you got to humble yourself. Because later on in the Bible, David is referred to as a man after God's own heart. He is the only person it is said he is a man after God's own heart. David messed up Bruh, he messed up. He committed adultery, and then he turned around and killed that woman's husband in battle. I mean, he was jacked up. And that's just a little bit of what he did. He did a whole lot of things he was not supposed to do, and he suffered consequences. And yet, throughout the Bible, he still is referred to as a man after God's own heart. And part of that is because he realized that he really wasn't anything, he wasn't a big deal. And I can guarantee he was a bigger deal than all of us. So if a king of a great nation could say, my position, my status is nothing, and I deserve to just worship him, I don't even deserve that, actually. He's like, I don't even deserve that. But I have the privilege of worshiping and honoring God. If he could do that, the king of the richest nation on earth. I mean, how many of y'all the king of the richest nation on earth? I didn't think so. You little liar, Matt. Every time. Faithful. So, we are not there. We are not there. So why can't we do that? Why can't we say, oh, you know what? It really doesn't matter what other people think, because I'm going to worship my God. I'm going to raise my hands. I'm going to sing. I'm going to serve. I'm going to love people. I'm going to pursue God because my status is so temporary, it's not even funny. So God used David in a huge way simply by him not wearing the basic clothes. He was just wearing his ephod. And once again, we have Michal. She was a hater. She was his wife. She was a hater. We're going to have a message on that later. She was the biggest hater. She was so mean, so mad. But you know what? David didn't care. He did it his own way. So we'll go back to look at some of those verses again. Now, she noted that. He's like, you did it. She said, you did it for the servant girls. She might have been a little insecure. She actually had a history where she had been taken from David, and another man had been with her, and then she was brought back to David. So, I mean, if I were in that situation, I too would be insecure a little bit. But she's like, you did it in front of the servant girls. One thing we need to recognize is when David, he checked her. He said, it was before the Lord. And then if you go down, I will celebrate before the Lord. He didn't do it for the crowd. He did not do it for the crowd. Now, okay, if you're God, raise your hand. All right, raise your hand, guys, males. If you're not raising your hand, are you confused? If you're a guy, a G-U-I, not a gun. If you're a guy, raise your hand. Okay, we got most of them raising their hands. Okay, raise your hand. Now, how many of y'all would like to embarrass yourself in front of the ladies? Would like to. Okay, so we have a couple. So I see the tactic. I've actually seen guys do this, where they they embarrass themselves and then they laugh and it works out. Okay, that's fine, whatever. But how many of y'all would just be like, oh, you know what? To get this chick, let me go put on my plain clothes, my yard clothes, and let me start dancing and leaping. And I bet you they're gonna like this. It's gonna be fly. No. I'd say I'm a female. If you do that, I don't think that's going to be very attractive. Context, maybe, I guess. But that's not to get someone's attention. Honestly, if I were the king of Israel, I'm not sure, I know I probably wouldn't have done that. Thankfully, the Bible teaches me to humble myself and to check myself. But I would have been like, oh yeah, God's here, hey, would have done my dance. God's here, yeah, we got the presents. I would not have been, let me go get on my yard clothes and let me go jump around and leap around and spin around. No. Because that would have been weird to all of y'all. Y'all be like, what is she doing? I know she's crazy, but that's excessive. Stop. That would have been a hot mess. So clearly, David wasn't doing it for the people. It's not going to make him cool in the people's eyes. That's kind of weird. He wasn't doing it for the crowd. He was doing it for God. Now, here's one thing we got to check ourselves with. How many times have we been in a position of leadership? I'm going to do this so that people notice me. I'm going to lift up all these curtains so the ladies notice me. We're not paying attention. Well, some of them paying attention to you. We're working on them. But most of us aren't paying attention to you guys when you do that. Or ladies, I'm going to be so helpful. I'm going to be that Proverbs 31 woman. And he could be like, she fine. Yes. No. A lot of us are doing stuff for others, yeah, we're serving God, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to work over here, and they're going to notice me. Even if we don't want to say it to ourselves. Most of us are doing it for somebody's eyes that aren't God's. Usually it's for the opposite genders, but not always. I mean, there are some of you who just want to, look good, like, hey, yeah, I'm a leader. Yes, I'm doing it. Like, I'm strutting. Most of us, at some point in our life, have gotten to the point where we are doing our service, our acts of what we are supposed to be doing towards God, for God. We do them to attract the eyes of others. Can I just tell you something? When you start living your Christian life to win the respect of others and to have the eyes of others and the attention of others, your Christian life means nothing. I hate to break it to you, but when you are not living to glorify God and to give Him the honor and the glory, it's nothing. It means nothing. Trust me, I've walked it, I've done it. I'm not saying, oh, this is what y'all doing. I've done it. Like, yeah, look at me. I'm so dope. I'm a great Christian. I went to every single ARC event. For those of you who don't know what ARC was, I'm dated. Acts of Random Kindness. It was like you go out and you go to harvesters or hand out turkeys for people to have, or not live ones for those of y'all with the active imagination. I must have one if I thought of that, right? So it was one of those places where we serve. Right? And I was like, yeah, I go to all the ARC events. I'm here every Sunday and Wednesday. I sang on the worship team. I'm on the drama team. I got it. I'm doing it. Yes, That doesn't mean nothing if you ain't doing it for God. I already tried it. It'll make you feel empty. You can do it for a little bit. It'll work. It will. But long term, that will be the emptiest devotion you have, because you are looking for the attention of others instead of looking for the attention of God. You're looking for the eye of the king, instead you're looking for the eye of others. And people, we come on, we have trends. Y'all know this. We've been on Instagram. Oh, have you seen that one video? That's hilarious. And then we don't talk about it for a long time, because it no longer matters. Our attention's changed. God is the one person who will continue to pay attention to us throughout our whole life. So if you're looking for fulfillment, if you're looking for satisfaction, if you're looking for a life that is worth living and a life that is filled with hope and joy, make sure you're not doing it for the crowd. Because the crowd will leave you. The crowd will leave you real quick. You want to know a crowd that left? Talk about the crowd that was following Jesus. Jesus, yeah. Oh yeah, Hosanna in the highest. I want Barabbas. What? That was a week. 1 week. It took the crowd 1 week to go from Jesus to give us Barabbas, kill Jesus. 1 week. So if we do it for if Jesus had done it for the crowd, well, that would have been pointless. Jesus would have been killed, and he was. Jesus didn't do it for the crowd, he did it for us. So if we're gonna live our life, we gotta check it, and we gotta make sure we're doing it for Christ, because otherwise it's pointless, it's in vain, it's meaningless. It's very, Ecclesiastes, is that the one? Where it's meaningless, everything is meaningless. So, that's for those of you who don't know, there's a whole book about meaninglessness. You could go read it, it's in the Bible. Check it out, Old Testament. So basically, we've come down to these 3 main points. If you want God's presence in your life, that'll give you blessing. If you want blessing, go pursue the presence. You can have it. It's not something where God's like, I'm not going to give you my presence today. It's free. He tore the veil so that his presence could be given to you every single day, every minute of every hour, constantly. But if you're not taking that, how are you going to get blessed? And 2, humble yourself. Because it's not really about you, and you're not as cool as you think. I'm sorry. It's not about me. I'm not half as cool as I think I am. But if I humble myself, I get to worship an amazing God who has even greater plans for me. And also, you have to remember, don't do it for the crowd. They're going to leave you. They will leave you every single time. Do it for an eternal God who actually cares about your heart and your life and who you are. So I'm going to pray real fast. So everyone bow your heads and close your eyes. God, thank you for who you are. Thank you for giving us your word, that we may learn what you have for us, and that we may learn from the mistakes of others so that we can be made better, and so that we can learn from the victories of others so we can be like, hey, don't want to do that. Thank you for giving us your instructions. And I pray that you will be with each and every student in here. I pray that you will be with those who are longing for more of your presence. God, give them that desire to pursue you, to read your word, to talk to you daily, and be with those who are hungering for something more in their life. God, fill them up, cover them, show them how much you care about them. And I pray that you will be with us who struggle with our reputation, because it's so difficult sometimes to just let it go and realize that it doesn't actually mean anything. But you, God, are the one who matters. Help us to humble ourselves that we may honor you, God. And please help us to remember that it's not about others. It's not about the crowd. It's about you, because you are the eternal one. You are the one who gave your all so that we can live a true and beautiful life. God, I pray that you will be with every student in here, whether they're visitors or regular attendees. God, I pray that you will bless them, cover them, protect them, and show them your new love and new mercies every morning. Thank you for who you are. Seal in our hearts what we have learned, and help us to have an amazing rest of the week, because it's summer and you know we're going to the pool. In your mighty name, amen.
Amen. Let's give Veronica a round of applause. Yeah. Published author, Phi Theta Kappa member, officer. I'm proud of her. She's awesome. And my son's on the drum. I'm proud of him too. He looked crazy, but I'm proud of him nonetheless. So thank you guys so much for being here this evening. We appreciate it. What'd you say? Oh, absolutely. I wasn't going to get out. Before we get the balls out, what do we got to do first?
Take down the curtains.
The curtains, please. Everyone, get the curtains.